We are coming to you from Kauffman Stadium in beautiful Kansas City, Missouri, where tonight Comcast Sportsnet presents White Sox baseball. It's Todd Frazier, Jose Abreu, Melky Cabrera in our Sox as they get set to butt heads with Eric Hosmer, Alex Gordon, and Ned Yost, defending world champion Kansas City Royals. Hi, everybody, and welcome. I'm Ken Harrelson with Steve Stone as we get set to bring you Game 2 of this 4-game set. We'll have the makeup game on Monday and Game 2 of this 9-game road trip. As you know, in the opener last night, if you missed it, it was a nice comeback for our Sox. You know, we've only won 40 games in this place in the last 6 years out of 109 tries. So that was a big victory for us. And our hero last night for the second day in a row was our second baseman.
When you're a part-time player like Carlos Sanchez is, and you win 2 ball games in a row, you deliver the winning runs. It's really something special. This was against Brian Shaw. It was in the 9th inning. And the Sox took 3 or 4 from the Indians, and the hero, well, our second baseman. And then last night, a 3-2 pitch. Sox are down. Not anymore. A 3-run homer that proves to be the margin of victory, and Carlos Sanchez for the second game played the role of the hero. 3 for 8 over the last 2 games, so the home run, 4 driven in, and the 2 game-winning hits. It's hard to believe that he's getting an opportunity, making the most of it. I think showing some people that he can play.
Well, he can play. There's no question about that. But everybody always talks about, you know, the White Sox, you're talking about Abreu, you're talking about Chris Sale, you're talking about Jose Quintana, you're talking about Carlos Rodon. Well, one of the guys who's been a tremendous addition to the staff has been Miguel Gonzalez.
Miguel Gonzalez has had a quality start 9 of his last 10 starts, and the only time he didn't have one was in this ballpark when he had to leave due to an injury. This is the last time out against Cleveland Indians, and he threw it very well as he's been doing pretty much all year. This is a terrific find. He's thrown the ball well, but he's 1-4 lifetime against these Royals. Vargas hasn't thrown a major league game since the middle of July of last year. He hurt his arm, had Tommy John surgery, and then you see the last pitch he threw, had the surgery. He's come back. He's had 6 minor league outings. So take a look at what he's done career-wise against our Sox. He's 1-2 with a 7.14 ERA. He's a soft-tossing left-hander with a good changeup. Miguel Gonzalez, the last 2 times out, has been brilliant, but we talked about the 1-4 record against Kansas City, so they've handled him pretty well. This is going to be an interesting outing because Vargas is only going to go 45 pitches, and then Dylan G is going to come into this. We'll see how far 45 pitches can take him.
All right, can our guys win 2 in a row in this tough ballpark against these defending world champion Royals? We'll find out, so sit back, relax, and strap it down. White Sox baseball coming your way.
Set in Chicago is brought to you in part by Toyota. Discover more in a Toyota. Visit buyatoyota.com or your local Toyota dealer today. Let's go places. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois. Through it all. Audi. Truth in engineering. And by Xfinity. Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV.
Welcome back to Kauffman Stadium. It's a beautiful night for baseball. The game is an hour earlier than the normal nighttime start. And a lot of people have showed up to take a look at their Royals. And last night, a dramatic win for our Sox, coming back in this ballpark, which is something that doesn't happen very often. So the crowd certainly is ready to go. And the Royals want to see if Jason Vargas can come back from Tommy John surgery and have anything close to what he had when he left. At times, he's been a pretty good pitcher during the course of his career, and left-handers can get the ball over the plate are very valuable. Robin loves the way his ball club has been playing. And there's a man who has a quality start in 9 of his last 10 starts. Last time he started in this ballpark, he had to come out after 1 inning. He had a groin problem, put him on the shelf for a while, but even since coming back, he hasn't really missed a stride. He's been absolutely unbelievable. It was a great pickup. He was a very good pitcher with Baltimore, so it's not surprising. But when he lost his velocity, Baltimore felt that he wasn't going to regain it. He has regained it, and with it, he's always had a knowledge of pitching, and now he moves the ball around, up and down, in and out. Throws a cutter that he added in the last couple of years, and really, he's been a solid right-hander for a team that was predominantly a left-handed pitching team as far as the starting rotation is concerned. 2 games in a row, Carlos Sanchez has been the hero. A 9th inning base hit through the shadows at U.S. Cellular Field, and last night, on a night that was difficult to hit the ball out, he got a 3-2 fastball from Kelvin Herrera and rode it out of the ballpark. Was not a cheapie either. He saved it up because it was the first home run of the year, and it turned out to be a no-doubter. Hit it high in the air and just kept on going. Turned out to be the margin of victory in last night's game. And so Todd Frazier, who really inadvertently started things off with 1 out, he got a high, tight fastball and was most unhappy with it, thinking that perhaps there was a message or a purpose pitch. This coming in the 8th inning. And then he stayed in, got a slider, took it down the line. It was a 1-out double, followed by a base hit by Alex Avila that scored Todd. And then a walk to Avi Garcia in a pretty good at bat. And then the 3-run homer for Sanchez. So Chris Sale, who hung around all game, completed his 6th game, ran his record to 16-8. You take a look at leading the American League in complete games. 2nd in innings, 2nd in WHIP, 2nd in ERA. As far as WAR, which is wins above replacement, he's 3rd. Opponent batting average against, he's 4th, and strikeouts and wins tied for 4th. So you could make a case certainly for Chris Sale to be considered at least for the Cy Young Award, and I'm sure he will get his share of votes. There's a lot of guys that are near the top in a lot of these categories. This is a year when things are bunched up. Porcello was the first guy to win 20 games in this league, and so there's going to be consideration given to a lot of people. And when that happens, when there's a lot of starters and not any one guy dominating, you then look to a closer. And Zach Britton has had just a remarkable year for the Baltimore Orioles. His ERA is .60. He's got 44 saves. The Orioles tied for 2nd in the American League East. They couldn't have been there without Zach Britton. So let's take a look at how Robin is going to line them up for our Kia starting lineup. Adam Eaton leading it off. Tim Anderson in the 2 spot. Then Jose Abreu at first. Melky Cabrera, who on the road the last 5 games has been awfully good. It's been awfully good all season long. Todd Frazier, Avisail Garcia, the designated hitter tonight. Jason Coates will man his duties in right field, and Carlos Sanchez and Kevin Smith with the honors behind the plate. Honda City defense, and now Ned Yost is going to line him up behind Jason Vargas. Alex Gordon is back in the lineup. Gerard Dyson playing center field, and Hunter Dozier, the rookie, is in right. Jesler Cuthbert, also a rookie, at 3rd. Mercedes Escobar with Merrifield, another rookie, at 2nd. Eric Hosmer, who usually does a pretty good job against our Sox, with Salvador Perez behind the plate, one of the best in the business. And our Lexus pursuing perfection starting pitcher is Jason Vargas. This is last year. He's 5-2, his ERA under 4. He only threw a grand total of 43 innings before hurting his arm. His last start, July 21st of last year, he had Tommy John surgery. They'd expect him to come back this year, and most likely, if they were in the middle of this race, he probably wouldn't be back now. But as things have fallen off for them, they've lost 5 games in a row. Gives them an opportunity to take a look at Vargas before they consider what they're going to do with him for next year. The umpires for the game tonight. Jerry Lane behind the plate. He's a crew chief. Hunter Wendelstedt, Toby Bassner, and Trip Gibson, who had a nice game behind the plate last night. So they've thrown the ball around the infield. That means we're ready to play baseball. Vargas is only going to be on for 45 pitches or so. And I'm going to turn it over to my play-by-play partner, Ken Harrelson.
All right, Stoney, thank you. And once again, good evening, everyone, and welcome to White Sox baseball right here on Comcast Sportsnet. So happy you could join us for Game 2 of this 4-game set and Game 2 of this 9-game road trip. And before we show you our picks to click, you at home select yours as the 33-year-old veteran. First pitch in a long time in a major league game is taken for a strike. You know, I was shocked a little bit, Stoney, about when I looked at his record against us, 1-2 with a 7.14. When I think of Jason Vargas against us, I don't remember him pitching that poorly. That ball hit deep into center field. They got some speed out there. And right up against the fence, hauls it in. Most parks, that is.
That's
Put it on board.
Yeah, that's number 14 in just about every place but here in Detroit. So Dyson, who's got great speed, actually measuring this one all the way. He checks to see where he is. He knows he's going to make the play with about 1.5 feet to spare, and he runs it down. But you're right. Vargas seemed to be pretty good against us, but yet you look at an ERA up over 7, you say, geez, it must have been he was just pounded in a game or two. That was about it.
Had to be, because he's done some pretty good work against us in some games.
I always thought that Jason Vargas might have been Spanish for Tommy Malone. They pitch so similar to one another.
Tim takes that pitch low and away, and the count 2-0. Sox come in hitting at .257 as a club with a 4.04 ERA. Sox have played these guys 16 times this year. We won 5 of them. We played 7 games here, and we've won 2 of them. As I mentioned in the opening, we played 109 games here in the last 6 years, and we've won 40 of the 109.
Doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense because it's not the artificial surface anymore.
There's a strike. Well, you know, the thing about it, too, is that it's been one of those bugaboo parks because earlier, you know, we've had to lead. I'll guarantee in those 109 games, we've had to lead at least half the time.
Well, it's been all 7 of them this year.
Yeah.
And there's, you know, so there's not much you can do. Strange things happen.
Well, usually strange things happen out of that bullpen.
I tell you lately, the reason for the demise of the Royals has been the bullpen. It's just collapsed.
Sure it is. That ball into left field. Get down. It will. So the Gold Glove left fielder, Alex Gordon, can't get it.
This pitch is out of the strike zone, and it's a straight change. Vargas can throw it to both sides of the plate. Tim Anderson waited back long enough to be able to get a decent part of the bat on it and drop it in front of Gordon, and that's the key. How can you how can you tell yourself to wait back? Is there any trick you can use?
Yeah, you got to have a thought, you know, before stepping in the box. And the best key that I ever heard to this day came from, I think it was Johnny Mize, the big cat, was my hitting coach when you're in winter ball. And he said, when you got a guy with a good changeup out there, he said, you got to try, as soon as you recognize it, you got to try to knock him off the mound. And that gives you that split second of a hang time. But if you're just looking for the ball, no. You got to have a thought inside your approach. Because as you know, that's the worst 5 words you can tell a hitter is he's got a great changeup.
Well, from 60 feet 6 inches, when I threw an off-speed pitch, if you came forward with your leg and your hand stayed back, I knew I was in trouble.
Yeah, like a Thurman Munson. Slowly hit. You're not going to be able to turn it. Yeah, there are hitters like Thurman was a poster child for that. You could tell when you had trouble in your hands, the way he just looked at the pitch.
As long as you keep your hands back, you're able to make good contact. They want to take a look at it, and that's one of the reasons why Tim Anderson is standing at third base to see if, in fact, he beat the play. In real time, it didn't look like he beat it, but now Robin is going to come out. We'll take another look at it.
Yeah, they're gonna look at it. But the whole key, as you framed it perfect, is the fact if there's one thing in Major League Baseball, hitting Major League pitching, if your hands don't stay back, you're dead. Now let's go to a guy who drifted more than anybody we've ever seen. Of course, that's Ichiro.
But
his hands were back.
The body drifted.
And his hands stayed back.
And his hands stayed back.
That's he's out. No. Close.
It's really close.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, if your hands come with you when you make your approach to the pitch, you got a big problem.
But I don't believe, and you've worked with a lot of hitters. You spent a great deal of time working your way in professional baseball up to be one of the top hitters. You couldn't teach Ichiro's style of hitting.
No.
He's safe at second base, by the way.
That's the last guy you would try to teach your kid to hit like. So he is safe.
See the hands on the bag, and that ball is not secured in the glove.
So that makes things a little
It is a
dicier.
fielder's choice. Yeah.
And here's Melky. Melky 2 for 5 with a home run last night. No, that is one of the cardinal rules of hitting Major League pitching is keeping the hands back. And one thing you don't see anymore that you used to occasionally see, but you'd only see it from one guy once in a game before he got drilled, was guys who walk up on a pitcher, run up in the box.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah, I do.
The last guy we had in uniform who did that was Scott Pasetnik.
He did, and he did it well.
He did it in Toronto. It was his first time. He doubled right down the left field line. He got 2 hits in that ball game, hit another line shot. He did it a couple more times, and then he tried against Soshins. That's a base hit. That a boy, Melky. So here comes Tim, and that play, it was reviewed, is going to score it as quickly. 1-0. Good guys.
It's RBI number 73. That's a low fastball. Melky takes it right back up the middle. No chance for Escobar, and early lead.
Well, our associate producer Dave Ross just told us once again we got the lead in Kansas City.
Yep. Each and every game.
So here's Todd. He had, outside of the home run by Sanchez, he had the big hit of the ball game. Herrera knocked him down, threw one right at his head, and it did. It was. Talked to Todd after the game. It really upset him. Meanwhile, sometimes you knock a guy down and you've done the wrong thing.
Well, it upset Todd enough to keep his concentration to stay in on that slider and take it down the line.
He just hit a rocket down there for the double. Had him way out in front on that one, pops him up. Escobar. They call the infield fly rule, and that's 2 out. So with 2 out, 2 on, let's check out our picks to click. The fans went with Adam Eaton, Joe Angio, John Walgren, Dave Ross, and the crew going with Jason Coates. Steve's going with Avi. JJ Shearer and Jessica Shearer. JJ and Jess. We're going to go with Kevin Smith. And of course, all the good folks, the great folks at Ditka's downtown and in Oak Brook. Outfield straight up. For the most part, space just about equidistant, maybe a small gap out there in left center. Avi had a couple of real good at bats last night. They were very instrumental in that win. Couple of walks, scored a run. And his approach last night was one of, he had a nice presence, one of seeing the ball better, seeing it a little longer.
We're also prolonged at bats, and eventually Pitcher can't get it over. I mean, they played an instrumental part in a few runs.
Yeah, he took a couple of close pitches on 3-1. He took them nicely.
Well, he took the third of 3 walks from Ian Kennedy in the second inning. And then he took a walk in the middle of that 8th inning that set things up for the 3-run homer.
Yeah. Chases one up. So now, got to get your thoughts together and go into a little different mode of thinking with 2 strikes. Too high for him to bite. You don't hit major league pitching by looking for the ball. You hit major league pitching by thinking. Three and two. And on the other side of the page, a lot of people tell you, well, you're hot. You're hot. What are you thinking about? They'll tell you nothing.
When you're hot, you don't have to think about it.
No, exactly right.
The ball looks like a beach ball.
Yeah. And you have 2 or 3, 4 of those periods every season. Unfortunately, they don't last very long. The difference between mediocre hitters and really good hitters, their bad streaks don't last very long. All right, 3-2 pitch. There's a shot. Oh, nice play right there. Nice play. And they're going to get him taking a base hit and an RBI away from Avi Garcia. Wow, what a play by Merrifield. Mercer.
Ned Yost. Rod Dyson leading it off with lots of speed, and this month he's been very good when he's had an opportunity to play. Then it's with Merrifield, Eric Hosmer, Morales, the DH, then Perez, Gordon, Escobar, Cuthbert, and Dozier rounded out. On to City defense, and now they're going to line up behind Miguel Gonzalez with an early lead. It's Melky, Adam, and Jason Coates in the outfield, with Frazier, Anderson, Sanchez, and Abreu in the infield. Kevin Smith gets a nod behind the plate. Alexis pursuing perfection starting pitcher is Miguel Gonzalez. On for his 21st start, 22nd game, ERA of 3.82.
Here's Dyson. He of the last year 26 out of 29 stolen bases. Dyson's.
Well, Long, when they bring up Terrence Gore, when they expand the rosters, these are 2 destructive guys.
Well, as you and I discussed last night, to me, certainly the last 3 or 4 years, I think Kansas City should be the model for most major league clubs.
Yeah, they've done really a nice job. I talked to Dayton Moore after the game last night, and He obviously was not happy with the outcome of the ball game, but he put together a team that he thought would not only be in contention again this year, but they actually had high hopes until things just started to disintegrate. And every team can make it by a couple of really key injuries, but when they keep on happening and then your bullpen falls apart, nobody's good enough to survive that.
No chance. You got no chance. They have no chance with all the injuries that they sustained.
That's why Jarrod Dyson is starting, because Miguel can't find too many pitches to get by him.
Yeah, they had the terrific defense. They had decent starting pitching. They had the best bullpen in baseball. And you combine decent starting pitching with the best defense in the American League, that makes that starting pitching staff better than decent.
And plenty of speed.
Well, when you put Dyson and Gore in there, close ball games, which there were a lot of them last year, they cause things to happen.
And a healthy Lorenzo Cain, which it's been proven how valuable he is, because when they lost him, that was about it for Kansas City.
Full count. No, with this ball club, the biggest job that a general manager has to do today is figure out a way to where his manager just can manage a 5 to 6 inning ball game. That's going to be a base hit. So good speed aboard. He's 27 for 34 this year in stolen bases.
Pretty amazing. 9 for 12 against Miguel Gonzalez. And doesn't matter what he throws, he just hits it right on the button.
Yeah, if a general manager can give his manager that ability, that says a lot of things. That means, first of all, if you can manage a 5 to 6 inning ball, that means you got a terrific bullpen.
Well, that's been the toughest thing for any general manager to do in recent years, is put together that 7th, 8th, and 9th inning bullpen that when you get the lead, you just don't give it away.
Plus, it changes the manager's approach to managing that particular game when you know that if you can get that lead in that 5 or 6 innings, you change your offensive philosophy.
Well, it changes the other manager's approach too, because you know you can't afford to fall behind, so you're going to play your infield in situations where you wouldn't normally if they didn't have a particularly good bullpen.
Well, that's why it changes with the good bullpen and the 5 and 6 inning manager. And whether you like Ned Yost or not, he did it. He's come within 1 out of winning 2 consecutive world championships because he was able to manage those 5 and 6 inning ball games. When Piniella won those 100+ games out of Seattle, he managed a 6 inning ball game every day.
Well, that was also Lou in 1990 with the Cincinnati Reds when they went wire to
nasty
wire.
boys.
Yeah. He had 3 guys. They were interchangeable, or could have been. They get everybody out.
Uh-oh. Stick that one in your pocket. So a 3-2 base hit by Dyson. Another terrific bunt by Merrifield.
We talked about how heads up Whit Merrifield is. You know, you got great speed at first base. And he also took a look, and Frazier was back at third. And so Merrifield, who's gotten his opportunity and really made the most of it. This is just a perfect bunt. Not much you can do when you put one down there.
So here is Hosmer. He was 0 for 4 last night. We don't see that too much from this guy. Hosmer at 272, 23 homers, 91 driven in. Trouble of brewing here in the bottom of the first. Yeah, if you got a ball club in today's culture, in today's game of baseball, if you got a ball club that a manager's got to manage 8 and 9 innings, you got a big problem. There they go. They weren't going to get him anyway.
No, unfortunately, Todd held his ground, didn't go to the bag, and Dyson took advantage of it. It's a double steal.
Well, Todd saw the jump he had. There's no reason to go over there because he got no chance to get there.
They wouldn't have got where he's in position. He wouldn't have gotten him.
0-2 the count. The one thing you don't want Hosmer to beat you on or hurt you right here is a fastball, unless it's out of the zone, way out of the zone, like that.
Hosmer with 4 sacrifice flies. Infield is not playing in. They're going to concede the run to try to stay out of the big inning.
Good try, just misses. Well, the only exception, there are always exceptions to every rule in every sport, but the only exceptions to the couple of statements I just made would be unless you get yourself a ball club that you know you're going to hit 200 or more home runs.
Well, Sox have had those kind of teams in the past.
Sure we have.
But this year, not one of those power-laden seasons.
Breaking ball over into the Royal dugout.
Hosmer's fanned 119 times this year, and so he will fall victim to face-high fastballs on occasion.
Well, he hadn't had Butler in the lineup that he had for a few years. He didn't have Gordon in the lineup for a long time. Didn't have Moustakas in the lineup. So you know he's got to take the approach himself, that he's got to do more.
No doubt. 91 driven in.
That's when Frank Thomas, a big hurt. The only time he ever got himself into a funk was when he tried to do too much when nobody else was hitting.
Sometimes you have no choice.
Exactly
If
right.
you're going to be the lone run producer, walking doesn't help your team.
Exactly right. You have no choice.
And Hosmer's never driven in 100 runs.
Oh, yeah, there it is. That's the tough pitch. That's the old equalizer to most guys today. The changeup. He gone.
Good pitch out of the zone. Hosmer expands that zone. And in a situation where they're conceding the run, that is not a very good at bat.
That's terrible at bat.
Yep.
Again, but once you get in that habit, it's hard to break sometimes.
Last year, 106 driven in for Kendrys Morales, the switch hitter. Much better from the right side. There you look at the numbers. But he's been a run producer since coming into this league with the Angels.
That's high into center field. That's going to be plenty deep to get Dyson home. So Merrifield will hold a second, and the game is tied at 1.
RBI number 81. Morales is awfully strong. Not a fastball to his liking. And for him, that's his 5th sacrifice fly. And if Miguel can get out of this with just 1 run, consider the job well done.
I've never met Morales, never talked to him. But I'll tell you one thing. For some reason, since that accident he had when he was with the Angels, I've always pulled for that guy.
He's been a real talented player.
Oh, he's a tremendous offensive player.
Yet last year, Kansas City waited a long time to eventually offer him a contract. Worked out real well.
And here is overall probably the best, if you count all facets of the game. And that means also in the clubhouse. This guy right here is probably the best player on this team.
Well, there's no doubt he's the leader of this team.
No question.
And he's been that way since he was 16 when they originally signed him, everywhere he ever went.
When you get a catcher, he can do the things he does on and off the field. And as I said, Plains, clubhouse, the whole bit. One of the big things in today's game also with the influx of the Latin players is having a guy who's a Latin who's one of the leaders on the club.
Well, for me, it's the ideal situation because first, I would want the leader of my team to be the catcher. That would be first. If not, the shortstop second.
Pops him up. So that's a good job right there. Men on second and third, nobody out. And he only gives up one, but they tie it, and we're tied at 1. Lending. Whether looking to purchase or refinance, never pay lender's fees with eClick Lending. Visit us online at eclicklending.com to lock in your low rate today. eClick Lending, point, click, and save.
Jason Vargas used up a whole lot of pitches of his allotment in that tough first inning. So I'm pretty sure when they gave him in the neighborhood again, it's not a lockdown 45 pitches. It's going to be in that neighborhood because he did strike out 10 in his last minor league rehab start. So he had to go fairly deeper into that game.
Well, if you get a pretty good changeup, like he does, you're going to strike out a lot of minor leaguers.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, they haven't seen anything like that.
No. High, just underneath it, Jason Coates.
Join us for White Sox Bags Tournament on October 1st at U.S. Cellular Field. Grab a partner, come out to our tournament, and see if you can win the tournament and take home a cash prize. For more information, visit whitesox.com/bags.
Here's Sanchez, Carlos. Game-winning hit the last 2 days.
It's pretty amazing when you think about a guy that doesn't get a chance to start many ball games. And 2 days in a row, he gets the game-winning hit.
Last night on the bus going back to the hotel, I was trying to think the last time that I saw, a fifth infielder or a fourth outfielder win 2 games in a row.
It's pretty remarkable.
Well, I couldn't think of it.
He's had only 106 at bats this year. He played in 40 games. A lot of them were defensive replacements. There you look at the month of September. That's been brilliant. 9 runs driven in 8 games.
There's that changeup.
When Vargas was good, the thing that always set him apart was that he could throw the changeup to both sides of the plate. A lot of left-handers especially will never throw a changeup inside to right-handers, and he will be able to do it both. Royals want to see if that arm is okay, and he's back a little sooner than they thought he would be.
Here's Kevin Smith. 0 for 8, still looking for that first major league hit. Takes the curveball strike. They got knuckle curve up there on the board. Not a whole bunch of guys have thrown that knuckle curveball, but a couple of them threw it well.
Well, with many guys throwing the knuckle curve, all you do is tuck in the index finger, and it looked to me like you might be giving away something to the hitter if you throw it with your index finger tucked in. There's a couple of guys that did it differently, though.
Out front on that one. Another changeup and a very quick 1-2-3 inning for him. He needed that. Meanwhile, still 1-1. See, tomorrow Monday, right here at Common Stadium. And we'll have two at Citizens Bank Ballpark against the Phillies, and finish up this final road trip of the season at Progressive Field in Cleveland.
The Indians looking for a number 2 starter, as Carlos Carrasco took a line drive off the bat of Ian Kinsler. He has a non-displaced fracture, and no timetable as to his return, but if the Indians can't use him at number 2 behind Corey Kluber, it's going to get difficult for them in the playoffs.
Gordon upset with himself. Chases one up and in. That's not his wheelhouse. 1 pitch, 1 out.
White Sox fans, celebrate your culture with Hispanic Heritage Night on September 30th, presented by Miller Lite. There's going to be Latin music and dancing, special activities for kids, an on-the-field parade, and a post-game fireworks show. Not just a good time, it's Miller time. Miller Lite, official beer of the Chicago White Sox. Tickets start as low as $10. Visit whitesox.com/NHH.
Alcides Escobar, 0 for 3 last evening. Takes first pitch strike. Outfield slightly to the right. Nice gap out there in left center.
Escobar will use the whole field, and he's not going to walk too much. He will swing at just about everything. Well, you can see he'll pull the ball a little bit more than he hits the opposite way, but he does spread him around quite a bit. 57 base hits to left field or left center.
Watch out. That hit him. So that's the 5th guy that Zales has hit this year.
Anytime a base stealer, and he is a base stealer, 17 stolen bases have been caught 4 times. Anytime a base stealer gets hit, first thing he thinks about is stealing second base. That's only the 3rd time Escobar has been hit this year.
Is Chesler. Cuthbert takes first pitch strike. And it was great to see old friend and former White Sox, part of the White Sox family, Mike Busick, before the game. Mike was vice president of marketing and business development. Also was very instrumental in the Milwaukee Brewers getting Miller Park built. Oversaw that operation. Just a great guy and a very talented guy.
Brewers have done a nice job drawing crowds to Miller Park.
It's a beautiful, beautiful park.
Good baseball town.
Oh, yeah. Oh, County Stadium. Boy, what a good park that was to hit in. Whew.
County Stadium looked almost identical to Cleveland Municipal Stadium.
No.
Oh, it looked
Cleveland
like
Municipal Stadium was the worst stadium in Major League, maybe, history.
I don't know.
I'm telling you, they had rats that looked like Yorkshire Terriers.
Well, they did have substantial rats, but they had those in the Astrodome, too.
Well, they were even bigger in the Astrodome. They looked like pit bulls.
Sometimes you'd walk down through the innards of the park to get to the field, and you'd see
look underneath those stands.
These gigantic things. They look like cats.
No, nice recognition, nice pick. So Cuthbert is gone for out number 2.
Well, Todd realized that he couldn't wait back on that one, and Tim Anderson then, with third base vacated, Tim went over to third base to make sure that Escobar could not advance. Good play by Todd Frazier. Heads up by Tim Anderson.
Here's Dozier. Hunter 2 for 6 since being called up. What job?
Dozier a third baseman by trade, but they've got enough third basemen here. With Moustakas coming back next year and Chesler Cuthbert showing that he can really play down there. If Dozier is going to make it, it's going to be because of that bat and most likely DH outfielder.
Dozier, Alex Gordon look-alike. One, 2-0 for us, 1-2-0 for them. Here in the bottom of the second, if you're just tuning in. Grabs the strike with that one.
Your responsibility to runner at second is to take a look at that second baseman, because you're looking right at him and you trust your third base coach to let you know if the shortstop is going to come in behind you. In this case, Anderson playing a straightaway shortstop. It's Sanchez. He's got to keep him close.
Good pitch, ate him up. Fights it off, fouls it off, Souvenir right side.
Try to get this one up and in. He threw one by him low and in earlier in the at-bat.
That breaking ball popped up right side softly. Abreu. And that'll do it. Win to the third, tied at 1.
Chicago.com, presented by The Great Escape. Pools, patio furniture, hot tubs, and more. Escape your everyday. Shop The Great Escape.
Top of the order for us here in the top of the third. Eaton, Anderson, and Abreu. First pitch strike. Adam went deep to right center field, taking Dyson back up against that wall out there.
Nine-game hitting streak. Things have been going awfully well. There's a lot of hitters that have been red hot. Eaton's certainly one of them.
Can't get that one upstairs. Fastball at 86.
You get a good changeup. 86 high looks like 95.
That's exactly right. I'm just happy that it's come back into play because it was way overdue with all these designer pitches. Well, with the splitter and all those things coming in.
Well, the splitter, when used as much as a lot of guys used it, hurt elbows. So then that kind of went by the wayside.
Took 15-20 years to figure that out.
But then everybody wanted to cut it. And then all of a sudden your old pitching staff had cutters. And that also decreases your velocity. But the straight change, if you've got a good one, there's nobody that can hit it real well.
Well, the formula for years and years and years. As I said, it went away for about 15 or 20, but it was the best pitch in baseball. It was a well-located fastball, which means you get strike one. Second best pitch was the changeup.
Well, especially if you could keep it on the same release point as you threw your fastball. If you deviated, then a hitter is wise to it, and he usually keeps his hands back. But the guys who throw it with the same release point, and the key on the changeup is manipulation in your hand to make sure that you can keep the same arm velocity but throw it anywhere from 9 to 11 miles an hour less than your fastball. If you can do that, you can certainly pitch in the major leagues.
That's why I bring that up quite often to all our young aspiring high school pitchers, college pitchers out there who don't have the big fastball. You can pitch in the big leagues. If you can locate your fastball and you come up with a good change, you can pitch in the big leagues.
Dylan G is going to take over for Vargas.
Ball hit down to Cuthbert. So Timmy now 1 for 2 with that run scored back in the first. You know, I've talked to a lot of guys who had terrific changeups over the years. Not as many lately as, of course, in my time zone as a player. But I asked him, I said, what do you think about when he's throwing that changeup? And not all, but I would say probably close to 30–40% of them. Said every time I throw that changeup, the one thing in my mind is if I miss, I'm going to miss down.
Oh, well, absolutely. I mean, if you miss up, then you're really going to get hurt.
Exactly. So that was their thought process. Every time they threw the changeup, if I miss, I'm going to miss down. And that's not a negative thing. That's positive thinking. Because the word miss inside that statement is not negative.
Well, if you got a good enough changeup, you don't have to even think about a corner. Good enough changeup, you can throw it over the middle of the plate. And obviously you're going to get some downward rotation on it. And that's what you're looking for. Throw a strike with it because you're probably going to get a swing.
Well, that and the knuckleball are probably the only two pitches that you just described that you can do that with.
Throw it over the middle of the plate, and you're going to wind up okay.
Abreu, 0 for 1, hit into a 6-4 fielder's choice. Outfield, straight up, spread out, spaced about equidistant. As the count goes to 3-0, turn him loose.
You certainly have to believe that. As Vargas gets to the point where it's probably going to be his last inning.
Well, he threw the changeup on 3-0. It was a good take. Sometimes hitters will look for that guy's best pitch on 3-0, and in this case, it certainly is a changeup. So there's ball 4.
In the first inning, Melky drove home the run. And with that first White Sox run, E-Click Lending will donate $100 to the Pat Tillman Foundation, supporting military veterans and their families.
Fouls that back. Melky had that RBI single, picking up number 73 back in the first inning.
Big series in Boston as the Yankees tried to get back into it. They lost again to the Red Sox. Red Sox have won 3 in a row. They've won 8 of their last 11, and they lead now by 2.5 games over Baltimore. Runners in scoring position this year, Melky has been very good. 314. In fact, offensively, you can hardly find any numbers that aren't very good for Melky.
Well, when Austin Jackson was here and he was in center and Adam Eaton was in right, Melky and Adam Eaton played left and right field with Jackson out there in center. This was as good a defensive outfield as it was in the American League. And their numbers showed it.
Well, they threw out a whole lot of guys from the corners.
And you know what? Even more so than that, they stopped a lot of guys from going that extra 90 feet. As that's over, Perez now.
That's a play that he usually makes and just didn't make this time. And he's unhappy with himself.
Yes, he is.
He knows, yeah, he knows that he was there. He knew exactly where he was. That ball is always spinning back toward the field of play. And he gave Melky another life.
Well, I think he sort of gave a quick glance at Hosmer, who was real close to him. Make him pay, Melky. That outfield defense we had when we started off this season, for you, those of you who don't remember, it's been a long time. We started off 23-10, and that outfield defense was a huge, huge part of that.
That and an absolutely unhittable bullpen.
Best in the big leagues in April.
That was something.
Had a little flare into right field. So Hunter's got that one, and that'll retire the side. Opener against the Eagles with Chris Bowden, Lance Briggs, Alex Brown, and Jim Miller on Bears pregame live. Then join those guys afterwards for Bears postgame live. Bears game day on CSN Plus starts Monday night at 6:30.
I think what Miguel would probably like to do here, probably should do, is have Kevin Smith say to Dyson, fastball, changeup,
especially
curveball.
On 3-2.
Tell him exactly what's coming, because then you put some pressure on him. First of all, he doesn't know if you're telling him the truth, but also you got to put something in his mind because he's absolutely killed him.
I think they changed that rule now. You can't do that. When I played, you could. The pitcher cannot stand on the mound until they got fastball.
No, I'm talking about the catcher.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah.
Catcher can say whatever he wants.
Yeah, let the catcher do it. Melky, a long way to go. He gets there. Nice play. And a nice technique.
He's going to take a rest and get a hand from Miguel Gonzalez. So he makes the catch. I'm not sure he really has to slide in, but he does it with a flourish.
I tell you, that I don't know what year they changed it. It was certainly, I think it was the late 70s, early 70s, late 60s, early 70s they changed it. But pitchers prior to that, yeah, they could stand on the mound and say, curveball. Fastball. In fact, I was playing a game, spring training. It was in a squad game. We had a pitcher who had good stuff. His name was Jerry Boxer. He was the guy I was telling you earlier. He was a ballet dancer.
A name like Jerry Boxer?
Yeah. And he had a terrific curveball. Timmy's got him. 2 down. So I'm hitting against him. And the time before, I'd hit a home run off of him. So second time I come up there, he gets me 3-2, throws the pitch, and he said, look out. And boy, I went down. And here comes that curveball right across the plate for strike 3.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's certainly within your repertoire if you have one of those. I can understand where they wouldn't let pitchers do that anymore.
Hosmer struck out in a big situation back in the first inning.
Yeah, if he makes a little contact, that's going to be at the very least a 2-run inning. But he didn't, and it wasn't. It was only a 1-run inning, and that's where we stand tied at 1.
Struck him out on a 3-2 change.
But Dylan G is going to come in the game. Vargas's night is over.
0-2 the count.
Cleveland, the bottom of the 10th, trying to beat Detroit for the 13th time and the 14 times they've met. Here's a look at Dylan G, who will come on to pitch. Even with runners at the corners and a chance to beat Detroit again.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. He gone. 1, 2, 3 inning, and we're into the fourth. Still tied.
Forward to Miller time later in the game, brought to you by Miller Lite. Dylan G comes into the ball game. It's the 31st time. He's 6-8. His ERA .460. Had some really good moments when a member of the Mets pitching staff finds himself here in the American League with Kansas City.
Dylan is 30 years old out of Fort Worth. So here is Todd. Fakes the bunt. All he had to do was get it down. He had himself a base hit with Cuthbert playing way back.
Jason Vargas goes 3, gives up a run on 2 hits with a walk and a strikeout.
A good job by the veteran making his first start since last year. But again, it goes to show you if you got a changeup, what you can do. We got a couple of guys. We got a couple of guys who, in my opinion, not necessarily on the big club, but certainly one on the big club, if they could come up with a good changeup, would be able to pitch up here. Especially a guy, that big 6'7" right-hander we got, who's basically a high fastball pitcher, Renato.
Renado's got good enough stuff to win in the major league.
Yes, he does.
It's been, well, the harnessing of the control has been a factor, but when you're not in there a great deal, it's tough to keep good control. Chris Beck has absolutely good enough stuff.
Sure.
If he came up with a consistent good change, it's a whole different world. Gives you another weapon.
And that's a good way to describe it. It's a different world. Get him off that fastball. But I'm sitting next to a guy who won 25 games.
Couldn't throw one to save my life.
Could not throw a changeup.
No changeups. And it wasn't for lack of effort, and it wasn't for lack of trying. I tried every grip you could think of.
Boy, you got a cookie right there. Got over the top of it, but a hard hit base hit. So a good way to start.
G hangs either a slider or curveball. He got under whichever it was, and it comes up there spinning right in the eyes of Todd Frazier, who hits it hard, as you would expect with the location like that.
But he's a little disappointed. When you get one like that,
You want to take it
out
way
of here.
back?
Yeah. When you're a home run hitter like he is, you don't want to miss those cookies. Here's Avi. He was robbed of an RBI single on a brilliant play, a stunning play by Merrifield to end the first inning. And that breaking ball popped up right side, playable. 1 out.
I think fans would be absolutely amazed when you watch major league hitters and you have one of the coaches throwing in batting practice and they know approximately where the ball is going to be. It's going to be in the zone because you want guys to hit the ball in batting practice. How few times, knowing what's coming and knowing it's going to be, what, 65, 70 miles an hour maybe, guys just don't seem to hit the ball out of the park near as much as you would think. On a pitch that you know what's coming, they're not there to fool you. They're there to let you hit it. So it really shows you how difficult it is when a pitcher is trying to get you out to hit the ball out of the ballpark, which is why the guys who can do it make a considerable amount of money in this game.
Well, again, you don't have to be, for you young hitters out there, we've talked about the young pitchers who don't throw hard, who can pitch in the big leagues if they can locate a fastball and come up with a good changeup. Now, for young hitters out there, if you have trouble with a curveball or a slider, you should not have to worry about that, or you should not worry about it is a better way to put it. Because you got guys playing in the big leagues who make a ton of money who can't hit a good curveball or a good slider. Now, they can hit hangers. Anybody can hit hangers. But I think I told you this story about the best year I ever had. Bobby Doerr was the hitting coach for the Red Sox, and he's a Hall of Fame second baseman.
So you're talking about 68.
Yeah. When that's spring training. Bobby comes up to me the first day we were talking, and he says, Hawk, I've been thinking about you. He said, I want to. There he gets the Lance Johnson jump. So he picks up his 12th stolen base in 15 attempts. But he says, as you take another look at this jump, watch this. Oh, one dog. So here's Carlos. Pick him up, Carlos. So he comes up and he says, look, I've been thinking about. He said, you're the best fastball hitter on this team. He said, the only thing I don't want to work with you on this spring is fastballs. Now, have you ever heard of a major league hitter going through all spring training and never in batting practice, which you take a lot in spring training, never getting a curveball, slider, or a change?
You didn't get any?
None. No. The only thing we worked on all spring long were fastballs. But I had them throw when they could a little harder than normal speed on the fastball. Why work on something that you can't hit? As I said, everybody can hit hangers. I couldn't hit your curveball if you threw it where you wanted to.
No, but if you throw enough curveballs, you're going to hang your share.
Exactly.
And if the guy doesn't miss them, well, then you got some problems.
Yeah. But the one thing I don't want to miss when Steve Stone threw me, that fastball. And I don't care if it was 5 or 6 inches in off the plate. 1-1 to count. Dick Allen did something similar to that one spring. Get over his head. Nope. Line shot right at him. And that'll retire the side. We'll go to the bottom of the fourth. A 1-1 tie.
27th through January 29th at the Hilton Chicago. You can score an autograph or photo with current players, coaches, and White Sox greats. Your favorite areas are back with interactive space to play games, win prizes, and shop for team gear. It'll be a weekend of White Sox baseball that you won't want to miss. For information, up-to-date information, visit whitesox.com/SoxFest.
Curveball strike to Kendrys Morales, who had a sacrifice fly back in the first inning. Picking up his. There's Ty. Throws him out. Picking up his 80th RBI.
Justin Verlander went 7 innings against the Indians. Gave him just 1 hit and no runs. His mound opponent, Carlos Carrasco, left after 2 pitches after a ball was lined off his hand, and he's got a fractured hand. Terry Francona used 9 pitchers, none more than 2 innings, and eventually got the win in 10. 1-0. They have put a hurting on the Tigers, and that's really the difference in the division. Tigers now 8 back of the Tribe, and the Tribe feeling pretty comfortable.
Here's Perez. He popped up. Adam Eaton in center field. That is a high pop up to Carlos Sanchez. 2 down. I was talking about Dick Allen did something. Did it more than one spring. Richie, by the way, was one of my favorite people. What a great guy.
What a great player he was.
Oh, well, we played against each other coming up through the minor leagues, so we got to be really good and tight. He went through spring training, never swinging a bat till he had 2 strikes.
That's pretty unusual.
Yeah. He just wanted to see pitches. Here's Alex Gordon, fouled out, or popped up, I should say, to Frazier.
Well, Dick Allen used a 40-ounce bat. What, to you, is the advantage of using a bat that heavy? Because nobody today uses a bat that heavy.
No, that's lined right at him. So a nice inning again for Miguel Gonzalez. We go to the 5th, still tied at 1.
Time for the T-Mobile greater coverage of baseball, and Hanley Ramirez has been scalding hot in his last 20 games. 372, 10 home runs, 25 driven in, 3 for 4 today. And Hanley Ramirez is picking the right time to get awfully hot.
First pitch. Fastball to Kevin Smith, fouled away.
Take a look at the standings and you'll see Baltimore. They're ahead in their ball game tonight, but they're now 2.5 games back. Toronto, 2.5 games back.
Boy, there's some good offensive teams in baseball. Pooh.
Well, that Boston team is putting all of them to shame as far as runs scored is concerned.
Well, they probably have the best young offensive team in baseball.
And they got Benintendi and Moncada coming.
Tell you what, you let Hanley Ramirez get heated up a little bit, as talented as he is with that bat. 1-1 tie here. 1-3-0 for us, 1-2-0 for them.
Boston coming into play today, leading Detroit by 21 points, a .286 team batting average, but the runs 800 now, 825 runs scored. That's astonishing. Detroit had 668.
Our congratulations go out to Kevin on his first major league hit. That a boy. So JJ and Jess Shearers picked a click.
That's exciting. Throw that baseball in. Right back up the middle. And he will remember Dylan G. fondly over the course of his career.
So here's Adam Eaton. Going out deep to center field. And he's going out to right. Takes a strike. And the count 0-2.
Adam just questioned Jerry Lane. Both of those pitches very close to one another. He thought the second one might have been a touch outside, but he's in an 0-2 hole.
Woo. Got a roller. Right size. Wrong shape.
It's just hard to stay back on that. They look so inviting.
That ball hit well in center field. Dyson back on his track. Right, another deep drive by Adam Eaton goes for naught. 1 out.
First 25,000 people who attend a Chicago White Sox game will receive a game card courtesy of Jewel Osco with a coupon for $10 off a purchase of 100 or more. Jewel Osco, your moment is our moment.
Yeah, chopper to Hopper. Good play by Cuthbert.
Okay, so we were talking about a 40-ounce bat and why more players used it in yesteryear than using it now. What's the advantage of a heavy bat?
You get better wood. Just that simple.
They get more of it, certainly.
You get better wood. It's harder. You don't have 16, 18, 15 grains in a 40-ounce bat.
So the more grains, the weaker the bat is?
The softer the wood. Yeah. And people, a lot of people, I get a lot of letters every year from dads saying, you know, my son is so-and-so, he's 14, 15, whatever. How heavy a bat should he use? Well, the equation really is one of nobody can answer unless they know how strong he is. You should use a bat as heavy as your strength will allow, because it gives you now the aluminum thing to take that out of the equation. I'm talking about wooden bats now. But I used anywhere from 35 to 40 ounces, and I use as that's popped up, the 40 ouncer against hard throwers, because you didn't have to check your swing up as much. Meanwhile, we're halfway home, still tied at 1. You got it right, Gareth. Thank you. Escobar takes first pitch strike. He was hit by a pitch his first at bat. You know, talking about the heavier bat, one of the biggest reasons you won't better wood is the fact that if I hit one off the bat with a 40-ounce bat, and you got Brooks Robinson and Louis Aparicio out there at third or short, if I hit that pitch the same place with a 32 or 33-ounce bat off the end, they're going to make the play. There's a chance they will not make the play as that's down into the corner. So he's going to turn it on. Oh, good throw by Carlos, but the leadoff triple.
That ball was just barely fair. Hunter Wendelstedt on the call. 6th triple of the year for Escobar. Looked like he tried to throw a cutter and try to keep it away. He didn't get it near as much away as he wanted. So we'll watch it as it drops fair, and then the speed.
So now the infield in on the right side and left. Anderson a couple steps back, which he can do with his speed and his arm. Come in or stay back is a better way to frame it. As much as your arm will allow. I mean, the speed of the runner at third.
I can say if you got Salvi Perez at third, you're going to back up a little bit because he's not going to beat your throw.
Cuthbert grounded out to Frazier.
A tough first inning. A wonderfully short third and fourth inning.
Two 2-0. Nice crowd, man. They're expecting a little over 34,000 tonight. They're averaging 31,836. Looks him back. Now guns him out. One down.
You can understand where the fans have taken to this club because the mainstays are still here from the last 2 years. They gave him 2 great years back to back. And the city very excited about the team, and why not? Last year was just one of those enchanted years when a lot of things went right, and health was a big factor. You talked about it with the health of the bullpen. Over the last 3 or 4 years, it's been pretty much they stayed exactly healthy, and the same guys kept getting people out all year long.
I've never seen that. I don't think anybody has. I don't think it's ever happened where you had your big 4 guys for 4 years stay healthy. With all the use that they got. Wow. Really, the only time that they got any rest was when the Royals scored a lot of runs and were way ahead.
I was going to say, and that didn't happen much because, you know, with a defensive team with speed, you're going to be in a lot of close games, and these guys were out there a lot because they were winning a lot.
One and two. Dozier popped up to Abreu.
Look, you got a real young hitter. His first go around in the major leagues, and he's swinging at pitches inside off the plate. It's the second time he's thrown him fastball low and in that he swung over the top of.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. You don't want to speed his bat up. One thing you don't want to do to young, strong hitters who are coming up, who are for the most part rookies, you want to stay away from speeding their bat up unless you know what you're doing out there.
You also don't have to throw him a strike when you figure you got a guy that's very anxious up there.
That's exactly what you don't have to do. There he's Coming up and in again. You don't want to throw him a fastball strike.
That was the spot, and he swung at it, but barely got just a stitch to foul it off. Kevin wants it inside, and Miguel gets it there. Dozier able to stay alive. Drove in his first run, his major league career, with a base hit. Judged a base hit in the 5th inning, last night's game.
The roller, and it's 2-1 Kansas City.
There is a second run batted in. We'll take another look at it, and he didn't look great on fastballs inside, but on breaking balls away, you said that before, is you throw that pitch, you speed up his bat.
No question. That's just not. In that sequence, it's just not a good pitch selection. Now, when you look at it on video, well, that's not that bad a curveball. Meanwhile, his bat was speeded up immensely. Now, that same pitch in a sequence to, let's take Salvador Perez, is not bad because he's a good hitter. He's a better, but a young, strong rookie coming up, no, that's not a good pitch.
Well, especially a guy that you know is squeezing the sawdust out of the bat, and he's showing you he can't hit the inside fastball.
Right. 2-4-0 for them, 1-4-0 for us. He had 2 hits in the first inning, 1 in the 4th, and 1 in the 5th. All singles. Dyson, who is on a 10-game hitting streak. And there's another base hit for Dyson. 2 for 3.
Here comes Don Cooper. He wants to have a word with Miguel, who's given up 3 hits this inning. And a man who has absolutely tortured Miguel over the course of his career, Jarrod Dyson, with a couple of singles tonight.
10 for 14.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it is.
Live out your dream of becoming a professional baseball player by attending the White Sox Dodgers Fantasy Camp. That's January 15th through the 21st, spring training home of the White Sox and Dodgers at Camelback Ranch in Glendale, Arizona. For more information, call the Fantasy Camp hotline at 623-302-5078. Sign up by going to whitesox.com and click on Fantasy Camp.
Merrifield, 1 for 2 with a beautiful bunt and a stolen base back in the first inning. 2 on, 1 out, 1 in. Sox, who have won 7 of the last 10 and 9 of the last 14. Feeling pretty good about themselves right now, as they should. Well, when I went out for lunch today, as usual, a lot of sock shirts, hats.
Pretty easy trip down here.
Oh yeah, it's a great trip for Sox fans, and usually there's a ton of them at the same hotel. Now there's not that many that I have seen at our hotel, but I think they had a couple of weddings there that took most of the rooms. That is high into right field. Dozier's tagging at second. And he'll move into third.
The New York Mets took a big blow to their playoff hopes because they had to shut down Jacob deGrom, and it looks like he's headed for surgery to repair the right ulnar nerve, right elbow ulnar nerve. And we saw just how devastating he can be.
Boy, he's fun to watch.
Ooh.
He and Matt Harvey and those guys, that Syndergaard, that is probably to me one of, if not the most fun staffs to watch.
Well, if they do get in, and there's a good chance they can do that, they're going to have to ride Bartolo Colon.
14-game winner.
Yes. He's going to be one of the guys that's going to be prominent.
2 out, runners at the corners. There goes Dyson, as you may suspect, and a big, big hack right there by Hosmer. You can't worry about Dyson. You're not.
No, he's going to take off. You're not going to be able to get him.
He's going to steal the base.
Yeah.
Percentages are way in his favor. So if you let him bother your concentration or your pitch selection, or that's where the catcher comes into play. You just can't keep throwing fastballs to try to protect against him.
From a hitting standpoint, did you ever get distracted by a guy running at first base?
Yeah, well, no, not so much from first, but
second or
jockeying
third?
around a second, yeah. Yeah, that's when you got to have a talk with the guys, in the clubhouse before. And once you do one time, you talk to them, then if that particular guy, say it's Jimmy Smith or Sammy Smith, then he won't do it anymore.
Well, look, if it distracts you, the object is to let the hitter have the best chance of getting a hit.
That's exactly right. And I've had guys, talk to me about it. Hitters say, Hawk, when you're out there, don't
move back and forth.
Right. Over the years, still the best way to deter a guy like Dyson is just hold the ball on him. But if you have to hold the ball on him long enough to where it ruins your concentration, then it's counterproductive.
You might as well just let him steal the bag. Last time, he got him on a face-high fastball. Time before, he got him on a change blown away.
And there it was right there, the change.
There's a change blown away, and now you'll probably see a face-high fastball. And I would expect that Dyson is running in this situation.
Rusty Kuntz, first base coach, former Sox outfielder. There he goes. And it's a 3-1 lead.
First contact of the night for Eric Hosmer. He's trying to get to 100, rip it in. And that's number 92. So Dyson was running. That high fastball taken right back up the middle.
Well, he didn't get it high enough.
Nope, he did not. Bouncing just over the glove of Gonzalez.
You know, Sox fans know how big Abreu is, and there you see how big Hosmer is. And here's more trouble. Kendrys Morales 0 for 1 with a sacrifice fly. I hate to say it, but every time Dyson plays against us, which he doesn't start that many games, when he pinch runs or starts the game, he always does something to hurt us. That speed you just can't beat.
Well,
you know, and that's the way baseball is going to go.
He also makes contact. I mean, it's not a guy that's going to strike out.
Against us, he looks like a real good hitter.
No, he does. And the bullpen up and going.
Oh boy, he's upset with himself. He just missed that one. He had a cookie and couldn't do anything with it, but they come up with a pair. We'll go to the 6th, trailing 3-1. Fly O'Hare when you can fly in jet. In jet, Chicagoland's choice in jet charter service. Just drive up and take off. For a quote, visit in-jet.com or call 888-FLY-IN-JET. We trail it 3-1. Trailed yesterday 4-2 and came back with 4 in the 8th, 1 in the 9th, and 1 at 7-4. Melky takes strike 1. Melky, the lone RBI back in the 1st inning. That was with a single. Good motion right there. A 2-seamer.
There was a time in the career of Dylan G where he was one of the mainstays in the Mets starting rotation.
Watch out. Well, the Mets, boy, for a long time have been one of the mainstays, so to speak, as far as models for pitchers.
Well, they've developed a lot of them, and they traded Michael Fulmer away to Detroit to get Yoenis Cespedes. Fulmer's had a great year for the Tigers.
2-2. Yeah, we used to play the Mets a lot in spring training. Seaver, Kuzma, Gentry, Matlack, on and on and on.
Yeah, they were overwhelming pitchers.
Well, the guys that, as I said, that I always thought was the toughest on that staff was Kuzma, because he had that slider that would just absolutely tear your right kneecap off if you're a right-handed hitter. And on another reason is because Seaver in spring training, he just, he didn't air it out. He was just getting in shape, getting ready.
Well, Nolan Ryan was in the bullpen of those teams.
Faced him a lot, yeah. But he couldn't get the curveball over then.
Nope.
And regardless of how hard you throw, at that time he was what you call meat.
Yeah, one-pitch pitcher.
Still, he was just an amazing, amazing performer. 27 years. Still throwing in the high 90s when he retired.
That was the astounding part. No concession to the aging process. He was a power pitcher when he came in. He remained a power pitcher and never had to be a finesser.
No. That's foul. The last thing in his repertoire was finesse.
Yep.
He had a little Sam McDowell in him though. Before he really came into his own, when he started getting the breaking ball over and all that, he tried to trick guys a lot, and when he did, he got lit up.
Well, he spent the greater part of the first 18, 19 years of his career as a .500 pitcher.
Yeah.
Then when he started to get the curveball over consistently, then nobody hit him.
That's high, and that's out number 2. Todd now 1 for 3. And that'll bring up Avi. 0 for 2, but was robbed of an RBI base hit back in the first inning on a beautiful play by Whit Merrifield.
Dylan Gee has worked out of the bullpen a lot this year, and he's tied for third in the major leagues, having made 7 relief appearances of 3 innings or more. That type of guy is invaluable as a bullpen saver to the rest of the staff. You're not going to have a real good record in that role, but you're going to save a lot of games where they don't have to run through their bullpen.
Gap in left center. Ate him up with that fastball, fights it off, and the count 0-2. Down ball, wrong man. And as usual, Avi hauling it, busting his butt down that line. And that'll retire the side. But we trail it 3-1.
Fine dining and service from the First Merit Bank Stadium Club. Memberships available to season ticket holders. And the First Merit Bank Stadium Club is also perfect for non-game day events, including weddings and corporate parties. For more information, call 312-674-1000.
Kansas City, half of the 6th inning. They lead it 3-1. 3-6-0 for the Royals. 1-4-0 for our guys. We stranded 5. They stranded 4. And here's Salvador Perez. Takes first pitch strike. Perez has popped up to center, and he's popped up to second.
Perez is playing in his 129th game.
Popped up. Watch out. God's there. 1 out. Well, he's, to me, I mean, he's the gold standard for catchers in this league.
It's not, I mean, he's a big man.
Yeah.
And it's not easy with the heat and humidity that always is present in Kansas City in the summertime. This guy's out there, the overwhelming majority of the games he actually catches, not just, in the lineup as a DH. And it's remarkable.
Well, that's the reason Ivan Rodriguez is such an icon as far as catchers go.
Well, that was another situation.
Texas
hardly doesn't get too much hotter than it got in the summertime in Texas, and he played 140, 145 games a year.
Amazing.
Catching him.
Amazing.
Yep.
I was looking at some numbers the other day, and A.J. Pierzynski, who may or may not retire after this year, is only 16 games away from moving into a tie for 5th place all time in games caught.
You think that would be enough to bring him back?
I don't know, but I'll tell you, he also holds the record for consecutive seasons catching 1,000 or more innings. And those are numbers right there that present Hall of Fame credentials. Well, 16 games away. Right now he's 8th, tied for 8th.
There's no doubt in the Hall of Fame durability. I'm not sure about the numbers overall, but
well, not offensively.
Pretty valuable catcher.
But when you talk about catching that many consecutive games, I think it was 10 or 11, 12 consecutive years, 1,000 or more innings. You're talking about going into a tie for 5th place with 16 more games.
Well, that really illustrates that you have to be impervious to pain, and you have to view the disabled list as like a moat with alligators in it, because he was available.
He was the toughest catcher I've ever seen.
You can't set those records without being impervious to pain, because you're going to get hit a lot.
And as big as he was,
I was going to say, especially a big man.
He's got wide shoulders. Take your time. You got plenty of it. There you go. 2 down.
We'd like to welcome all of our viewers watching on Cascom in Pittsfield, Illinois.
There have been some guys put in the Hall of Fame who didn't have a lot of big offensive numbers, but they were at what they did. Not saying setting records or anything, which AJ has, as far as you mentioned durability.
Yep.
That was the key word. You get up in those things, that's something. I mean, that's something.
Well, there's a couple of things that come into play, and for the comfort of a manager, the manager will tell you at the key positions, in which shortstop is one, obviously catcher is another, center field, yes, another key position. If the manager can write your name in and know that each and every day he comes to the park, he's not going to have to ask the trainer, not going to have to ask you. If he can just write your name in, that's absolutely invaluable to any manager. in the key positions.
Yeah, well, that's another great point, that they didn't have to worry about him.
Nope.
He had 12 years, Dave Ross tells us, 12 consecutive years of 1,000 or more innings, which nobody has ever done that.
And I bet you he never got hit by a foul tip.
Well, he was amazing. I mean, as you said, he was impervious to pain.
Well, you have to be. You can't.
It's a mindset.
Well, yeah, but that position, that's such a tough position.
Look at that. I love to watch him throw. All right, USAA honors those who have served, and all of our service members here at home and abroad.
White Sox face the Twins on Sunday, October 2nd at 2:10. It's Fan Appreciation Day. Hundreds of prizes are going to be given away throughout the game. For tickets, visit whitesox.com.
All right, boys, let's do something. We trail it 3-1 here in the top of the 7th inning. It'll be Coates, Sanchez, and Smith, the lower third of our order. Yeah, but when you get guys as big as AJ, as big as Carlton Fisk, those guys are monsters behind the plate. They're going to get killed back there with foul tips.
Well, Salvador Perez is a huge man, and
he's bigger than both of them.
He had some concussion problems taking foul balls off the mask.
Yeah, Salvador is bigger than both Fisk and AJ.
Dylan G has done a nice job. Vargas started the game. It was on a pitch count, threw about 50 pitches through 3 innings, and Dylan G has come right back, giving up just 2 hits in his 3 innings of work, and he stands to be the pitcher of record. It's a small pitch count heading into his 4th inning of work.
Cuthbert. 1 out. Coates now 0 for 3. Yeah, just watching G, I hadn't seen that much of him. You've seen a lot more than I have. G. He's not going to impress you from looking at his stuff.
No, the stuff isn't impressive, but his command of it is, and that's
the difference.
Right, that's what makes him able to still pick up a very comfortable paycheck in the major leagues. And also, we talked about coming out of the bullpen and throwing 3 innings or more. That's just a bullpen saver.
Yeah, you got to have one of those guys. You used to call them rubber arms. That term is long gone.
Yeah.
Outfield straight up, spread out. There's a bunt. He's got to hurry. He can't make it. And a nice play to get on base. A bunt single for Carlos.
Well, G came off tentatively.
Yeah.
I think he thought Perez was going to make the play, but Salvador couldn't get to it, and Dylan G just came trotting in. Just like we promised you earlier in the game, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite. Here's our Miller moment, and is the first of what we hope is many Major League base hits. Right back up the middle. A souvenir as Smith rounds the bag with an aggressive turn.
If you watch Kevin Black in spring training, like I've watched him in the backfields, watch out. After you watch him for, say, a week, 2 weeks, you say to yourself, this guy's got a chance.
Well, just a terrible break because he had a chance to really make an impression early in the season. And then in Toronto, stretching, hurt his back, and we didn't see him until they called him up late.
One of our unbelievable first-year starters who didn't get a chance.
It's pretty amazing what happened this year in that capacity.
0-2 the count. That's high.
Interesting defense in that Cuthbert is over toward the line at third. Escobar playing up the middle.
If you're just tuning in, we scored 1 in the first. They scored 1 in the first. Then they came up with 2 in the fifth.
That was a good changeup down. See the location on the Honda pitch tracks. It was a strike, so he had to protect.
Kevin, big man, 6'4", 230. Out of Pittsburgh. Lays off of it. He's a .289 career minor league hitter. Got huge power. Now he's never shown it too much as far as hitting home runs. The most he's ever hit was 12. Winston-Salem, 2013. If you watch him take batting practice, he can hit some monsters.
He did a good job of staying alive there. That was a cutter on the outside corner.
I'll tell you, he's got a little bit of him in. Reminds me a little bit of a young Mike Napoli. Some of the mannerisms with the swing.
If he turns out like that, he's going to do real well.
That hook will get you. 2 down.
Good pitch. Just a slight buckling of the knee. Couldn't pull the trigger, and it was there.
Here's Adam Eaton. Adam 0 for 3, and he's hit 2 real deep drives. 1 to right center, 1 to left center. First and 30. Or tie it up.
He's in pretty good shape now. Nice hitters count.
That ball hit into left field to the wrong man. Alex Gordon, 7th inning stretch. We trail it by 2. Cuthbert can't get it, leading off here in their half of the 7th inning. He is grounded to third and he's grounded to short. 3-1, Royals on top. Sox won the opener last night, 7-4. Oh, what a nice pickup Miguel Gonzalez has been.
Hi, Mom.
This is 10, the last 11, a quality start.
High pop up, Tim.
Watch MLB.TV Premium. You can get every out-of-market game live on HD on more than 400 supported devices and enjoy a free subscription to At-Bat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV.
Ate him up. Long peg. Time. 2 down.
Just like we promised you earlier in the game, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite. This one down the line, and Escobar for 3 bases, and that key to 2-run inning, and that's the difference in the game.
So here's Dyson, 2 for 3 with a run scored, also a stolen base. It's going to be a nice, quick 1-2-3 inning for him. And we have 6 outs to try to get 2 runs to tie it.
As Dylan G continues to roll right along.
Boy, he came on back in the 4th inning. So he's worked 4 innings, giving up just 2 hits. Check that, 3 hits.
And the bullpen up and going with the lead late. This used to be automatic, not so anymore.
Well, you mentioned the series before, how many runs?
Yeah, 43 Oakland put on.
I mean,
board.
Oakland rather,
Yeah.
put on, and you know, and last night you also brought up the fact that that probably was one of the huge factors in us winning that ball game.
Herrera got 5 outs the game before.
Yeah.
So when your bullpen runs out of gas, some big problems that we saw up close and personal early in the season.
Yeah, we were talking about that today.
Soria loosening up in the pen.
I would venture to say that that's the last time you'll ever see that Chicago White Sox team. Oh, well, let me rephrase it. In a long time. One off day in April.
Yeah.
Come on. That's absolutely ludicrous. That's ridiculous.
Paulo Orlando has come in defensively and right. So Dozier's night is over.
That's into left field. And here's the Gold Glove winner.
You know, I know that George Brett is one of your favorite players. And I talked with Denny Matthews, a long time Royal broadcaster. And I asked him, when George came up, did he see a guy who was going to go on to be a Hall of Famer and one of the great players in our history? And he said no. He idolized Carl Yastrzemski, and so he had a straight up bat, completely different stroke. And then it was Charlie Lau who got him to lay the bat down, and a style we've all become familiar. But kind of surprising, he said he was really rough at third. You thought he was going to be a decent player, but he never envisioned he was going to grow into the great player that he was.
Well, he played the game. The reason he's my all-time favorite player to watch, he's after me, but to watch him his whole career and never see a guy dog it one time in his whole career.
Oh yeah, no, that's yeah, one of the things that.
And truly, every time he hit a base, got a base hit up the middle or into right field or left field, he thought it was a double, and so he saw it was not.
That was most of that team. They all did the same.
That was a fun team to watch. That's the reason they were very successful.
Al McRae, one of those same guys.
Yeah.
Became a doubles machine because he never accepted a single.
That a boy, Jose, picks up his first hit. He's now 1 for 3.
Came in hitting an even 300. The batting average will not go down as he strives to get 100 driven in. He's got 95. Certainly wants to hit 300, but it's going to be tough for him to hit 6 more home runs and get to 30.
Well, most of the great third basemen we've seen in the last 40 or 50 years came up. They were not very good defensively.
Nope, just adequate. And then they just worked really hard. If they had the desire to work really hard, they could make themselves into it.
And they did.
Robin, one of those guys sitting.
Robin was a butcher when he first came up. Doug Mansolino got with him. Got to get his behind down, and he became an outstanding third baseman. Brooks Robinson, one of the all-time greats at third base, told me he was an absolute butcher when he first came up. Greg Nettles played with me in Cleveland, and he couldn't catch a cold down there. I mean, he was brutal, and he became one of the all-time greats. Clete Boyer told me that he was a butcher when he first came up. There's a base hit, so we got 2 on. And 1 out.
Well, you would think that would be it, as a long, slow walk to the mound by your host, Ned Yost. He's probably going to produce Soria, as Dylan G has done a terrific job. Gotten the game into the 8th inning with an out. There's the call to the pen. Soria coming in. And as he comes in, we'll step out and be back after these messages. Pen, and it is Joakim Soria. 4-8, ERA 4.19. He's on for the 65th time. He has not had much success closing, although at one point he was a great closer. This year 1 for 8 in save situations, of which, at least for the moment, this would be one.
So the tying runs are aboard with 1 down, and here's Frazier, who's 3 for 7 against Soria. One of those hits left the premises.
So a pretty high total of home runs, 9 in 62 in the 3rd innings.
Nice approach with the power he has. That ball headed towards that bullpen in right field. That's had a strike that had the plate, and then the count 0-2. Well, you know, you're talking about one of the secrets to being successful in the big leagues is you got to learn how to slow the game down. And it's absolutely amazing. It's absolutely amazing. If you talk about what we were just talking about for the plate, that's foul down. How much slower that game gets if you're playing a corner at third or first. It's almost amazing. When you get your behind down, it slows the game up immensely. When you're standing a stand-up third baseman or a stand-up first baseman, you can't believe how fast that ball gets to you.
I think we remember Gordon Beckham.
Yeah.
In, I believe, his first year, they put him over at third base, and a line drive went right through his legs.
That was in Minnesota.
Yep. And it shows you the difference. I mean, he was a lifetime shortstop. Now they move him to third, where speed isn't important. First step quickness is, and he wasn't used to playing a low third base.
Well, that's a great illustration, a great example right there.
Yeah,
because that's exactly. And then all of a sudden he started getting his butt down, and he became a great third baseman. You got to find a way to do it. And he got it. Plate too.
Yeah, he looks back and doesn't like to call it Jerry Lane, but I think when he looks at this, he'll realize that it had a good portion of the plate as Soria goes to the fastball. And pretty good pitch.
All 3 pitches had the plate. That's just one of those at-bats you got to accept. You got to beat you. He was better than you were in that particular at-bat. So here's Avi. He was robbed of a base hit and an RBI back in the 1st inning. He's 0 for 3. Breaking ball. It hits the bag. It's a fair ball. So here comes Abreu, and it's a 3-2 ball game. That makes up partially for that 1st inning robbery by Merrifield.
RBI number 47. And this looked like it was going to be a little chopper and a relatively easy out, but it didn't turn out that way. It hits off the bag and skids by Cuthbert, rattles around for a while. So Abreu scores, and now it's a 1-run game.
And Shuck's going to hit for Coates, as that's the 17th double for Bobby.
Got to have a little luck in the game. That could turn out to be some big luck.
And if Shuck could get a base hit, it would be a ton of big luck.
Even bigger luck. I think you'd probably agree that the Avi hit was the key hit of that game. I mean,
right.
in looking at all of it, you know, from every angle, it's to me so far like that's the key.
Takes the strike at the bottom of the zone.
I think Salvi Perez just wanted to watch Melky stumble back to third because Cuthbert wasn't covering, and he faked as if he was going to throw it.
You look at him. He's fun to watch. It looks like Ozzy. Ozzy running the bases.
Looks in and waves his hands at Perez like, what are you doing? Just call the pitch.
Well, you're taking Scott Sanderson's nickname away from him.
The Senator?
The Senator.
Yeah. Dyson fairly shallow in center field. He's playing straight away.
Come on, JB. One time, buddy. We need you. Big pitch to 1-1. Pass up the middle, and they get the man who can get it. But the RBI double by Javi Garcia, and it's a 3-2 ball game.
We've got a new pitcher coming in the game, and it is a man having just a terrific year, Dan Jennings. On for the 60th time, the ERA 1.71. It's a one-run Kansas City lead, and Adam Eaton shifts over to right field as J.B. Shuck, who came out a pinch hit, stays in the game to play center field.
Well, thank goodness for Jennings. And tell you what,
he's had to really carry a heavy load, and he's done it exceptionally well.
he has. He's got, you know, we talked about, he's got good stuff.
Yeah.
All you've got to do is throw strikes. There's a strike on the top of the zone. Yeah, when you lose Petrichka and you lose Putnam, that's a big hurt. That had the bottom of the zone. Well, we had a good umpired game last night from Trip Gibson.
Yeah, I thought he really did a nice job.
You're going to miss some, but you know, Jerry Lanes had a good ball game tonight, and I wish we could blame it on the umpire, but we can't. There's Merrifield again.
I was going to say, the more you see of this young guy, the better he looks. His dad was a professional player. Certainly taught him well as he collects his second base hit. Got a stolen base in the back half of a double steal in the first inning.
Hosmer, couple of strikeouts and an RBI single.
Nice stop by Kevin Smith as he moves to his left, making sure the double play is still in order. And Wade Davis will come on to nail it down.
Try to.
Well, it hasn't been the same Wade Davis since the arm injury.
Okay, make the good throw. He did. He gone. Rack him up. 2 down.
Jose is close to the bag, and normally a first baseman will yell tag him as that throw dropped right over his left shoulder.
Now, Steve told you about Cleveland beating Tigers 1-0. And Stoney and I were told in Cleveland last time we were in there that their MVP this year was Jose Ramirez.
Yep, that's exactly what happened. That was a surprise because he hit like 219 last year. He's come up this year from the start of the season till today. He's just done a great job.
Well, he and Lindor carried that club the first month and a half, 2 months.
Yes, they did, and he came out of the Cleveland system. And again, I don't think they ever saw 310, 315 from looking what they saw last year. They saw a good versatile player last year. This year, he's been one of the mainstays.
Well, Lindor's 22 and Ramirez just turned 24 today.
Yeah. He came through with the big hit that finally won it in the bottom of the 10th. Terry Francona used 9 pitchers. He had to because Carrasco took a line drive. A fractured hand is the result of that line drive and no timetable.
Morales can't get it. 2-1. Cleveland in this division this year has been the team with the it. They've had it. TWTW. The will to win.
Well, it's going to be really tough to overcome a pitching staff that has fallen apart in the late going, because losing Salazar as they did with no timetable on his return.
Well, that's a different ball game, right?
And then now you lose Carrasco.
That's a different ball game.
And you wonder who's going to be number 2 behind Kluber. I mean, the guy who's got the best stuff is Trevor Bauer, but he's been inconsistent as we saw in that last series against Cleveland.
That kid Clevenger's got to step it up now. He's got a chance. Yeah. He's got a nice presence.
And Tomlin can throw strikes.
Well, Tomlin's a grinder. He's a competitor.
Started out 9-1 this year.
Well, for the most part, he's similar, but he throws a little hard, but he's similar to a right-handed Mark Burley. He'll grind it out with it. But Tomlin's a winner. All you got to say, he's a winner.
Yeah, this is the most innings that he's thrown since coming back from Tommy John surgery. So if he can throw like he threw when we saw him, how he threw against us at U.S. Cellular Field, he can be a big factor for him.
Bauer's got to step it up.
There's no doubt.
Which he's certainly got the ability to do so. All right, 2 out, 2 balls, 2 strikes. High in the right field, the bubble blower, Adam Eaton. And a nice inning after that leadoff single by Merrifield for Dan Jennings. Carlos Rodon looks to get back in the win column as he faces these Royals for the final time this season. So don't miss a Monday matinee with first pitch at 1 right here on Comcast Chicago.
Wade Davis comes into the ball game on for the 40th time. 24 for 27 in saves, ERA of 2.17. Last year he was not the full-time closer. He ascended to that role a little later, had 17 saves, had a .94 ERA in 69 games and an 8-2 record, as he was the man that got it done at the end, trying to recapture the magic. And here's a guy that's had a whole lot of magic the last 2 games.
Carlos 1 for 3. Wade Davis in his career 9 saves against us, 7 of them coming this season.
He was a starting pitcher with Tampa Bay and was a pretty decent one. 12 and 10, 11 and 10 in a couple different years. In fact, was a starting pitcher when Kansas City got him from Tampa Bay. It was 8 and 11 before they moved him into the bullpen, where he's been overwhelming.
Good curveball on the count, 1-2.
Pretty good numbers. 9 and 1, 9 saves and a 1.86 career ERA against our Sox. Alex Avila in the on-deck circle.
3-7-0 for them, 2-8-0 for us.
He was determined to get him out on that hard slider. That ball had a piece of the plate, but it's moving too quickly as Alex getting his opportunity.
Alex 4 for 14 lifetime off the big man out there, and half those hits left the park.
This is the first time he's been used as a pinch hitter.
Outfield in unison, swung slightly to the left.
As you see so many hitters, they play him as a pull hitter in the infield. Normally the shift is more radical than this, and as an opposite field hitter in the outfield, because he's got pretty good power to left center field.
One. Come on, Alex, start us off right here, buddy.
Davis having a hard time getting that breaking ball over the plate.
A lot of times the hitter will see that and he'll say to himself, "We can't get that sucker over."
Just
next thing you know, next pitch. Here it is.
Well, he's got to sit on a fastball anyway.
Yeah. You don't you? Something's missing up there. 3-1. There. Ooh. Well, close.
Questionable. Could have gone either way. It went Davis's way. You see almost the entire glove is out of the strike zone. That's perfect. You put just the tip of the glove in the zone and you can buy your pitcher a couple of inches outside. There'll be another slider. Let's see if he can throw for a strike.
Two down.
This one moved, as you can see. The spin on the ball, when you look from center field, you can see a little dot in the back of the baseball, which tells you it is a slider. It has that spin. Didn't move a lot, moved enough.
So the 34,805 come to their feet, looking for the 27th out. Big gap in right center. He hadn't called
no, not many low strikes tonight.
Not many low strikes. Called some high ones, but he's been consistent. That's all you can ask for. Give you an idea of where that zone is. And that's going. This ball and strike guy here is challenging Rick Fuse.
That would be a major accomplishment.
I said challenging. I didn't say beating him.
That is the guy, for those of you who don't know Rick Fuse, he's the guy that calls the balls and strikes up on the scoreboard at Wrigley Field.
Fastest in baseball.
Yep.
This guy's quick though.
Adams hit the ball hard a couple of times tonight. Hit the ball in the air all 4 times.
2 of them would have been out of a lot of ballparks. Good rip underneath it.
Well, that was the one that he wanted, because he got a fastball. Not a lot of movement on it, straight down the middle, but fouled it straight back. He had a good cut. Take a look at the location. It's right there.
He barreled it up just underneath it. Two and two. It's full. So Tim Anderson on deck. Three 7-0 for Kansas City, 2-8-0 for our Sox here in Game 2 of this 4-game series. And this ball game is over. He strikes out the side. Well, it's a shame because once again Miguel Gonzalez was outstanding.
Yeah, I mean, 10 of the last 11 starts, a quality start. He gave up 3 runs. That's all it took to defeat him, but he went 7 strong. And the Royals break their 5-game losing streak. And we'll be right back at it tomorrow early.
That's a 1 o'clock game, and that game will be over WGN. So for my partner, Cy Young Award winner Steve Stone, Hall of Fame director Jim Angio, for our producer John Waldron, for our terrific associate producer Dave Ross, for our technical manager, our fine technical manager Mark Harper. Also the executive producer Jim Corno Jr. This is the Hawks. So long, everybody. Coming up next, Subaru Postgame Live. That will be with Sierra, I assume, and Bill. You've been watching White Sox baseball on Comcast Sportsnet.